Hello everybody, my name is Joshua and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee, Cats, and King, where we discuss books, both new and old. I will share with you pictures of my cats. It will make you wish they were your cats. And I'm drinking enough coffee for me and everybody watching. Obviously the locale is different this time. I'm trying to find a new place to film. My backdrop, I think, that I was using just doesn't work in the space that I currently have. Seems like the camera's having some lighting issues, maybe because of that backdrop, so I either need to get a new backdrop or just try filming in a few other locations. So I'm starting with the filming in other locations. So I apologize in advance if this ends up being a weird video because of where I'm filming. Hopefully the next one might work out better. I don't know, we'll see. We have another special guest in Havoc. Say hi, buddy. Pooh Bear. Say hi. Yes, he's rubbing himself on the books we're about to talk about. Oh yes, he's very excited about these books. Very excited about these books. I am too, because this is my December TBR, and he should be excited about these books because the very first book that we're going to talk about is cat related. But we're going to see how this goes. So I have both boys here with me. And we're just going to go on and get into it, okay? So, I have 12 books here that I picked for the month of December. There's 1 audiobook, 5 ebooks, and 6 physical books. That was a pretty decent mix, and that gives me 1 each for the 12 days of Christmas, if you will. So, I'm going to start with the audiobook. This is one that was actually sent to me by the author that I'm really excited to get into, and luckily for me, it happened to work out this month that it is very much related to the winter season. This is Timothy Bryant with By Their Cold Fingers. I guess I'm going to put the image over here somewhere. I haven't quite worked out that part of it yet. But this book, as I said, was sent to me by the author, this audiobook version, and it just so happened to work out for this season. So this is more of an historical fantasy, I believe. This takes place in the very early years of the 1400s in Greenland. During what seems to be an almost endless winter. These settlers are at the very end of civilization as we know it, and they are being stalked by some sort of predator there in this Arctic tundra. Sounded fantastic, and this was a book that I would have picked up anyway, but like I said, the author kind of reached out, asked if I'd be interested in reviewing it. I said yes, of course, absolutely, and here we are. So, have not read anything by him yet. He has a few other books that sound very interesting, and it seems as though he does a little bit in the fantasy realm, a little bit in the horror realm, and jumps back and forth a little here. This could be a little mixture of both, actually. I'm not really sure, but I liked the historical aspect of it, and I liked that it took place in Greenland, which is a locale that you don't hear much about, but that most definitely works out for the winter season. The next book I want to talk about is Gregory Bastianelli's Snowball. And this is one that has been on my radar for a while, but again, I was kind of waiting until we hit colder weather to, to add it to my TBR. This is about a group of motorists that end up stranded on the highway and are hunted by unnatural forces. They slowly come to realize that there is a very tenuous link between them, but that this tenuous link may mean more than they realize. Some of them find a seemingly abandoned house in the woods and realize that it is not in fact abandoned, but is settled by this sort of twisted toy maker who for some reason has an awful vendetta against them, and he is the one sending these unnatural forces after them. I don't know much else about it other than that. I heard about it from the Well-Read Beard, based on his Goodreads reviews, and it sounded really interesting. Like I said, I've been wanting to pick it up most of the year actually, but was kind of just waiting for the opportunity, you know, and here it is. And book 3 should not be a surprise for anyone that has watched my recent videos. In October, I read a short collection by Mr. Jeff Carter titled We Bleed Orange and Black, which was a celebration of Halloween, of course. I very much enjoyed it. I believe I gave it 4 stars, and found out that he had a Christmas collection titled We Bleed Red and Green. So, of course, I have to pick it up this month. The collection that I read in October was very well done. Enjoyed the heck out of it. Has an excellent cover, and fully intend to pick up a physical copy. This one I think will be no different. It is short, but I fully expect to enjoy myself immensely with this one. And book number 4 is an anthology. This is titled Winds of Winter. And no, I totally didn't pick it up just for the cat on the cover, although the cat definitely drew my interest. I picked this up because this is another winter-themed anthology. The difference here being that it's 17 stories that span all kinds of different genres. So you're getting fantasy, you're getting horror, you're getting romance, you're getting contemporary dramas, you're getting historical stuff, you're getting poetry. It's really a whole mix of everything. And that's what intrigued me about this one more than anything, is that I didn't want to stick to just, you know, Christmas horror. I wanted something a little different. This is going to give me that mix that I think I'm craving. And it's a book that has 3 reviews currently on Goodreads, and I love being able to get in there early and give a good review to authors that deserve it, and I think this is certainly going to be a collection where I can do that. This next one is simple and sweet, should be very obvious. This is the Best of Indie Horror Christmas Edition, and this is compiled by Kevin J. Kennedy. Obviously, based off the cover and the name, you know exactly what you're getting here. This is another small press anthology based around Christmas horror. Simple, sweet, but very much looking forward to it. I've had this one on my list again to read for a while, just waiting for Christmas time to come around. And then to round out my ebooks for the month, this is another one that has no reviews actually currently, but I saw the title, saw the cover, and immediately knew I had to read this. This is an anthology titled Sleigh Bells, Operation Claus. With this delightful Santa Claus-esque figure on the cover, shooting a gun into whatever dangerous creature or person is coming after him off to the side there. And what more can I say? This one was solely me basing it off the cover. Knew I had to read it. Probably one that I'm thinking if it goes well, I'm going to pick this up as a physical book because I want that cover on my bookshelves. And I apologize for that noise in the background. It is pretty cold here right now already. So of course, you know, we have the heat going. Not quite ready to start up the fireplace yet. Trying to hold off on that just because the cats are very curious, and we're still trying to teach them, mostly Havoc, that fire is not something that kitties play in. Alright. We're now into the physical books. I have 6 of those for you. The very first is my only non-fiction for the month. And I already told you guys I was going to read this. This is Cleveland Armory with The Cat Who Came for Christmas. And Mr. Armory wrote a series of books, actually, about his adventures, if you will, with this stray cat that he ended up taking in. This is one of them, one that I've been waiting to pick up again in December. What was really cool is I grabbed this earlier to put a bookmark in it just to kind of prepare, and I realized that back in 1993, Mr. Cleveland Armory signed this and wrote a little message to this person. I found this copy at Goodwill, so always really cool to find a surprise like that. And like I said, this is nonfiction about him growing to love this annoying little ball of fur that shows up one day and just decides that it is going to live in his house. And as someone who can completely understand that, I think I'm going to get a lot of laughs out of this. I think it's very lighthearted and fun, and you know, sometimes we just need that, especially sometimes around this time of year. Now, the next book that I plan to pick up, physical book anyway, I want to get, again, some younger fiction in here as well, but sticking to the sort of horror theme, but I think also more mystery in this regard. This is Mjang with The House in the Snow. Another lovely cover. It says, people had always claimed the house in the snow was haunted, and Benjamin never meant to go near it until he met Mackie in the forest. Mackie has escaped from the house, and he knows its secret. There are robbers, invisible robbers, living in the house, not ghosts. And the robbers have kidnapped other boys besides Mackie. Benjamin knows he has to help Mackie's friends escape, but how will 9 boys win against 20 robbers with guns, knives, and invisible powers? Wow. I gotta be honest, I didn't actually read the synopsis before picking this up. I just saw the cover, it worked for the month, but this sounds pretty dark, with the kidnapping of multiple children by robbers with weapons and in this old abandoned house. Yeah, it sounds a lot darker than I anticipated, actually. Never read anything by this author, never even heard of this author, actually, but this is one of the old Apple paperbacks by Scholastic, so we will see how it goes. And by the way, if you hear any crazy noises in the background, it is because the Cattens are going nuts. As usual, they can't just be typical cats who love the heat. No. Our cats, when it gets cold, go absolutely ballistic. They have twice the energy they normally do, which is already an insane amount of energy. And they just run crazy, go nuts, have a ball. I don't get it, but that's Havoc and Chaos for you. Book number 9, then, is one that I actually messed up. I bought this earlier in the year from Goodwill, anticipating to pick it up at this time of year. Totally forgot I had it because I have so many books in there. Thankfully, I happened to find it in a stack tucked up in the corner, and otherwise I would have been missing out on this, and this is the only time really to read this kind of book. This is a collection edited by James Charlton and Barbara something or other, Wilson. I can't read it very well, colorblind, so bear with me. But this is a Christmas Treasury of Yuletide stories and poems. Yes, it's very hard for me to read this cover. I suppose I could just not be lazy and open the front and tell you who edited it. But anyway, this is just what it says. This is stories, poems, stories that are fiction, stories that are non-fiction, all centered around Christmas time. And this is a mix of stuff from hundreds of years ago. Actually, we start with stuff from the Bible, into Agatha Christie, into Laura Ingalls Wilder, Robert Frost, Charles Dickens. So most of this is older material, but good mix here of what I assume is going to be, some mysteries, some thrillers, some lighthearted stuff, and yeah. Again, trying to keep it a little lighter because, as you saw, my ebooks for the most part are more centered on horror. So this will give me something a little more relaxing, if you will, especially after what is apparently kidnapping and potential child murder in that in that younger book that I found. And after all of these cold reads, I thought I'd need something to warm me up a little, so I grabbed something that is well out of my wheelhouse, but that sounded intriguing. This is Mary Stuart Atwell with Wild Girls. And this is, I think, more of a YA. This is about a girl who grows up in this little Appalachian town where, for whatever reason, past a certain age, women of this town sometimes gain the ability to either accidentally or purposefully set things on fire with their minds. And this girl does not know if she's going to be one of those women or not, but she ends up at a private school where she is just trying to get through, as we all did, trying to deal with the mean girls, with the bullies, with the cliques that evolve during our school lives. And in addition to that, dealing with the fact that at any given time, she could potentially start setting fires with her mind, whether she likes it or not. I don't know anything else about this book. I didn't look up any reviews or anything like that. This was just one that, for whatever reason, I picked up on a book haul. Again, I think Goodwill or a thrift store or something a while back. And thought, you know what? I need something a little fiery for the cold season. This certainly seems like it'll do. Two more books. This one is very obvious now. I did read this one 2 or 3 years back, but I had to pick it up for this season. It works so well, and it is a very enjoyable book. This is an Isaac Asimov collection, anthology actually, so he just compiled it, but this is the 12 Frights of Christmas. And this has Ramsey Campbell, Robert Bloch, Lovecraft, Wells, Clark, Stevenson, and a host of others. This has horror, it has mystery and thriller, and some science fiction. It's fairly short at about 260 pages, but again, it's just a nice mix of genres, all kind of centered around, this Christmas theme that I recall enjoying very much, and I stupidly gave my copy away. I was very, very lucky in that I found another one from a thrift store, and this one is in immaculate condition. I will not give it away again because I know how hard this book is to find, especially in what looks like unread condition, but I'll be picking this one up again. And then to finish out the year, actually, as far as TBR goes anyway, this is the time of year where we all decide we want to kind of stay in, stay indoors. It's cold, it's kind of yucky out there weather-wise. And this is a book that I have been desperately wanting to pick up and just waiting for the opportunity. This, I think, is the perfect opportunity. So, as my last book on my actual TBR, I'll be reading Anne Rivers Sitins, The House Next Door. I have heard so much about this book over the years, so many great things. I've been told that this is the premier haunted house story, that this is one of the absolute best haunted house stories. And to my understanding, the difference here is that we are seeing it from the point of view of the people next door to the actual haunted house, not the people that are living in it. So they think that it's more of, this domestic disturbance going on, and maybe there's some abuse occurring. They just hear, things breaking, a lot of yelling, people getting injured, and so they think it's more of a domestic abuse sort of thing, without realizing, in fact, that it is the house doing these horrible things. So, yes, Havoc, we all hear you. So that's where I'm going to leave it off. Like I said, I only picked 12 for this month. One, because I didn't actually have that many books themed around Christmas as I thought I would. There were some others that I wanted to pick up, but then I stupidly decided that I was going to put myself on a book buying ban, so that went out the window. But I'm very pleased with these 12. I'd like you to, of course, let me know what you think below, and tell me some of the books that you intend to get to in the month of December. So that's it for now. Stay safe, stay warm, guys. I hope you enjoy the holiday season. Even if you don't celebrate the holiday season, it still usually affords us a little more time with family, friends, or just a good book. So, thank you. Drink some great coffee. Cheers.